$60 million? Yo, welcome to the best 49ers show. I did the wrong intro today. I'm Grant Cohn. That's Ryan G. Hensley. Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, comes out today, has a very interesting, it wasn't even today, it was yesterday, on the Rich Eisen show. And it was long. Rich just asked him, out of the blue, so what's going on with Brock Purdy? And Tom Pelissero had a very, long, detailed opinion that maybe was just off the top of his head. It was so specific, and it's it just seemed like he happened to have the cliff notes of the argument his agent was going to make in the negotiation in a few months. Where do you think this news is coming from all of a sudden, and why now?
It's interesting timing, isn't it? Because Brock Purdy's coming off one of the worst games of his career, and this news drops the next day. Also, the other report was by, what's her name? Rossini? Diana
Rossini.
What was that report? So we can have that full context also. She's
from The Athletic. She said that the Niners are still fully committed to Brock Purdy as their franchise quarterback and for the long term, and they're going to give him a multi-year contract extension offer.
Yeah. So the timing of both of those reports is right after Brock Purdy's worst game in a long time. I don't think that's a coincidence. Grant, they're saying your mic is off. I don't know if that's true or not. I can hear you. I don't know if you're talking.
They can hear me?
I can hear you good, but I don't know. Your voice sounds maybe like you're not talking through the mic and you're talking through the computer. I don't know.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. But it's interesting that both of these reports are coming off right off of his worst game in a long time. So, I mean, you could go on with the show like this. I think it would be fine. By the way. It just will sound a little different.
StreamYard's messing with me real quick. Let me come back in. I'm talking this one up to StreamYard. This is a false start, but we're gonna do this. I'll come right back.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'm gonna host the show while Grant's gone. Now you guys get to see the full backdrop. We got, little Mac Dre right here, Michael Jordan, some of the GOATs: Ronnie Lott, Steve Young, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and Michael Jordan. Anyways, Grant's gonna be come back on. There he is.
I'm back.
Mike, there it is.
Does that sound better?
Yep.
Sounds better. All right, glad. All right, okay. So now we're doing the show starts now.
Now, I was showing him the background, little Mac Dre.
Why I think this is happening, why this news is coming on real quick.
Yeah.
Because his game was so bad on Thursday night. To me, if like when Nick Bosa was having the defensive player of the year season, you never heard news like, oh, the Niners are still committed to it, or Bosa wants to reset the market. It was just understood. He was having the greatest year ever, and he didn't have to say a damn thing. They were going to, he was going to get what he was going to reset the market, because if the Niners didn't want to give him that money, someone else would. But in this case, you hear a leak, and it seems like it's coming. I don't know where it's coming from, but
is there panic?
If I were his agent, I'd be nervous after a game like that, after a season like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, compared to last season, right? Last season was tremendous for him. I believe what he had 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, if I'm remembering correct, something like that. To now he's trending like 19 and 14 or something. Not nearly as good. Struggling in big games, losing big games, missing a lot of opportunities. So yeah, if you're his agent, if you're Brock Purdy, you're thinking we may have just lost a lot of money, and they're maybe trying to get in front of that and put these reports out. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, because it seems like, here's what I would think. We're battling narratives here. Brock Purdy has a really mid season. I mean, he's 6-7, and no one really would have cared about what he did up until Thursday night if he had just beaten the Rams. And to beat the Rams, all he had to do was score 13 points, and he scored 6, and his quarterback rating was 45. And he was awful in the rain. Couldn't have been much worse. And so all of a sudden, the narrative is going to be like, oh, well, maybe the Niners can get him at a discount. Maybe the Niners can get him at the Baker Mayfield deal. 3 years, $100 million. Maybe the Niners can maybe this is good news. And it's all of a sudden, nope. He wants $60 million. He's going to get $60 million. Because the way Tom Pelissero presented it is well, if you just look at the facts, you know what I mean? It's got to be $60 million. But Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that. Big time. Big time.
Well, the problem is when Kyle Shanahan comes out and talks about, the problems with this season, basically, explaining the reasons why they're not doing well, excuses, if you will, the injuries, the drama. Now that creates an excuse for Nick Sorensen. That creates an excuse for Brock Purdy. And it feels like that's what they're going to be relying on heading into these negotiations. And they're trying to get in front of it now. Like, no, everyone was hurt. Same reason why the team sucked overall. Same reason why Brock struggled overall. And we're going to nip this in the bud right now. Here's our expectations. Let you guys know right now. That's what we're expecting. Seems like that's
but it's like this team needs to have some self-awareness. We're going to talk about this later, but it's like you're the team that made Jimmy Garoppolo the highest paid player in football. You're the team that made Deebo Samuel one of the highest paid players in football. When are you going to practice some restraint instead of just giving players everything they want because they want it? But that's not what this topic is about. This topic is about the source of the leaks that have been coming out since the worst game of Brock Purdy's career. One of the worst games of Brock Purdy's career happens. Don't worry, everyone. He's still worth more than you even think because he's better than Dak. And he has more playoff wins than Lamar Jackson. That was the argument. Do we blame Brock Purdy and his agent for wanting to reset the market?
I don't. No. I think players should always try to extract as much as they can from the team, unless you're in a position like Tom Brady was at, where he already established, set for life monetarily, and his focus is, hey, let's win as many Super Bowls as we can. When you're Brock Purdy, this may be your last contract. You don't know. And that goes for everybody. Just like Brandon Ayuk. I didn't blame Brandon Ayuk for wanting to get $30 million. I don't blame Brock Purdy for wanting to get $60 million plus, whatever it is. I don't blame him for that at all. I don't know. Do you?
No, I mean, I think what's interesting is I think people had a misconception of who Brock Purdy is and what he was going to do. He's got this whole persona that I don't even think he created, but people imposed onto him just because they think they know him. I mean, he's the last pick in the draft. He dresses a certain way. He wears his Christianity on his sleeve. I think people thought like, oh, here's a humble Christian guy who looks like he's 15. He won't want that much money. He doesn't play football for money. Like this is a professional athlete with a lot of pride who's extremely competitive. Like what professional athlete at the top of his game that doesn't want to be paid like it, especially after 3 years where he feels he was playing for essentially nothing. I'm not surprised at all. And this is his opportunity. You never know when you're going to get a chance to be paid like this. And why would you settle for anything less?
Yeah. And even in that comments by Tom, he said, if Brock Purdy was offered a top 10 contract, like not the top contract, if he was offered a top 10 contract, he would say no. So they're establishing, basically what they're establishing right now is their starting point. It sounds like the offseason negotiation has started now. This is our starting point. At minimum, this is our starting point. We want to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. That's the starting point.
And that's the thing. Like, just because they're posturing that this is all they'll accept, in reality, it's just a starting point for negotiations. Right. And depending on what Brock wants to do, he could draw this out like Brandon Ayuk, or he could do this very quickly. Here's what we'd like. Here's the Niners counteroffer. Okay, let's meet in the middle. Like he very well could end up accepting the Baker Mayfield deal because you know what? The season may be over for the 49ers, but it's not over for Brock. He needs to play these final 3 games. And if he struggles against the Dolphins, I don't think there's as much he can do the next 3 games to increase his offer. But if he does poorly, I think that could only give the Niners more leverage to not make him the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah. And, to get back to the question, I don't blame Brock Purdy for wanting to reset the market. He should. And, also his agent is doing a job here as well. Like, we don't necessarily know what Brock is his thoughts are on this. He's probably trusting his agent to a degree. And I bet when Brock Purdy's asked about this week, and I'm sure he will be, his response will be, I'm just focused on football. I'm just focused on beating the Dolphins. That's my agent.
That's my agent's job, and I'll do my job.
Yeah. So he'll still maintain that same character I would imagine.
Yeah,
Not that
and like
not
it's not his job to find some agent who's not going to fight for him, who doesn't
Right.
think he's the best quarterback, who doesn't think he's worth it. Like it's the agent's job to make the best case possible for Brock. And we know someone who makes an incredible case for Brock every day on Twitter, and he isn't even on Brock's team, doesn't even get paid by Brock. He just does it anyway, pro bono. And so if all those numbers are out there, I'm sure, Brock's agent can get him, X amount of games with a quarterback rating over 120 and the efficiency and the DVOA and the EPA and all that stuff. So he'll have a case. And if the agent is worth anything, he'll drive a hard bargain here. I don't think I think again, the fact that this is coming out shows that Brock doesn't have a very strong case. This feels a little desperate from the agent's perspective, if it's indeed coming from him, because again, you never heard from Nick. I don't even know who Nick Bosa's agent is. Never heard from him.
And the hard part too is, I guess we'll probably get into it, but I know you and I both pretty much at the same time went on to Twitter and said, do you think Brock Purdy deserves $55-60 million to play quarterback? Should the 49ers do that? And on my poll, I think it was like 80% of 49er fans were like, no, no, don't do that. So that's what he's up against as well.
Ryan, come back.
To be the top paid quarterback. Here I am.
Oh, here I am. Sorry, you froze a little bit for a second. You're back.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all good.
Yeah, what I was saying, it just doesn't feel like the 49ers fan base agrees with this report that Brock Purdy deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, but like, didn't we go through this with Ayuk? Like when it first came out that Ayuk wanted $30 million a year, fans were like, no. And then after a while, they were like, just give it to him. It's the market. I don't know.
Yeah. But then what happened after he got it?
It really blew up in their faces. Do you think the 49ers will give Brock Purdy what he wants?
I do. I think this is the team that paid Jimmy Garoppolo, made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL after 6 games. This is the team that spent 3 first-round draft picks on Trey Lance. This is the team that caves to every high-named player on their team. This is the team that Jed York came out and said, yeah, we're prepared to pay Brock Purdy $60 million a year. Like a dumb he didn't say 60 million exactly. He said we're prepared to pay him a lot of money. I think what was the question? Maybe the question was, would you pay? Are you prepared?
I don't think anyone used the word that figure.
Okay.
Explicitly.
Okay. I'll find out. But
check.
Yeah, we'll have to check. But he came out and said it. He basically acknowledged after last season. So do I think they're going to? Yes, I do think they will. I think they will cave. And they're smart about it also. Like, I think they could give him a really big contract, but I also think it'll appear bigger than it really is when you dive into the numbers on paper.
Yeah. I think they'll offer him something. I don't think they'll drive a hard bargain because they never do. Mm-hmm. I don't think they'll trade him because they never do things like that. But what they could do is offer him like something that's technically $60 million a year, but it doesn't have a lot of guaranteed money. And when you look at it, it's actually not $60 million a year, and it's team friendly. And in that case, Brock could say no, because the pattern for all the 49ers negotiations is they give an offer in April, and it's team friendly. And if you want to get the negotiation over with because it sucks, then just take the team friendly deal. And players have realized, don't give in, because it'll be painful for 3 or 4 months, but you'll get everything you want in August or September. So if Brock decides, you know what, let's just hang tight, they're going to come back with another offer later on. We don't have to request a trade. We can just do nothing. That could happen. And he doesn't sign his extension, because with Jimmy, he was an unrestricted free agent. This guy is not. They can do the Brandon Ayuk thing. It's like, doesn't sign his extension by the draft. Oh, well, we drafted a quarterback just in case. Like they drafted Ricky Pearsall. Oh, well, we got a quarterback. Oh, you don't want to practice in training camp because you haven't signed your extension? All right, well, we got our first round pick. He's going to get all the reps. Well, you're still our guy though. And then the first round pick, he's either good or not. I don't know. Something like that could happen. I'm not sure that the Niners will just give him $60 million with like most of it guaranteed off of this year. Maybe last year they would have.
I think it'll be somewhere in between what fans think he's worth and what Brock thinks he's worth. It'll be somewhere in the middle between those 2 points. And it'll, like I said, it'll sound like he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL on the surface. But when you dive into it, it won't be much guaranteed, like you said, and there'll be outs after 3 years, I would imagine at the most. Possibly, if it's 2, that's really bad. That doesn't look good. But it's probably gonna be after 3 years they have an out.
Okay, should the Niners pay Brock what he wants?
Absolutely not. No, they should not. If we're talking top of the market, no, they just shouldn't. Let me read off something to you. A lot of people, and I'm going to preface this by saying that I think Brock Purdy is better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to preface this by saying that. Jimmy Garoppolo, though, played 2 full seasons with the 49ers. Besides that, he played a season with 11 games, and like the rest were like 5 or 6 or something. So 2 full seasons with the 49ers. In 19, Jimmy Garoppolo, 3,978 yards, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 69% completion percentage. That's with 16 games played. Jimmy Garoppolo in 2021, 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 68% completion percentage. That's with 15 games played. If Brock finishes out the season, he'll have 3,907 yards, which would be less if Jimmy played 16 games in 21, and it is less than 19. He'll have 18 touchdowns, which is less than both of Jimmy's complete seasons. He'll have 11 interceptions, but that touchdown to interception ratio is worse than Jimmy Garoppolo's both complete seasons. And his completion percentage is less than Jimmy Garoppolo's in both of Jimmy Garoppolo's complete seasons. So this is a really bad year. This is not as good as Jimmy Garoppolo when he plays a full season year. That's what we're looking at right now. And that's a scary thing for me. Beyond that, elbow injury, UCL injury, shoulder injury that I don't think is even healed right now. I think after the season, we're going to hear that he's been injured this whole entire time. That is concerning for a guy that does not have a strong arm to begin with. I would not pay Brock Purdy. I want to see it play out.
It seems to me like the reason people liked him to begin with is because he was throwing a lot of touchdown passes. Because in this offense, with this scheme and this play caller, like they can move the ball up and down the field. They've been doing it since 2017. But with Jimmy, even when they got Christian McCaffrey, they were settling for field goals in the red zone too much. And then Brock Purdy became the quarterback, and all of a sudden they were scoring 35, 40 points, lighting it up, having no problem scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Those days are over. He doesn't throw very many touchdown passes anymore. The red zone's a problem with him. Like his touchdown percentage this year is less than 4. Jimmy never had a touchdown percentage less than 4 when he started at least 6 games in a season. Like that's freaking Brian Hoyer stuff. That's like Sean Hill stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really care what his yards per attempt are, or that that they're 8th in yards with him at quarterback. Like they're not scoring points. He's not throwing touchdown passes. He's got 20 touchdown passes in his last 18 games. That's awful. That's Daniel Jones stuff. So no, you can't give this guy all that much money. And I think what's interesting is, like, if this plays out like the Brandon Ayuk thing, where the Niners make an offer that they think is fair, and Brock Purdy thinks it's a slap in the face because it's not $60 million. Like, what do they do with Brandon? Right? He wanted 30. Their initial offer was like 25, 26,
24.
24, 25. Okay, yeah. So Brock wants 60, and the Niners. Let's say the Niners' initial offer is
40,
50.
Yeah, 50,
and it's 10 million short. And he thinks that's a slap in the face, even though 50 is ridiculous to me. I mean, it should be 45 tops. It should be nothing. Anyway, let's say it's 45. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's 45. And Brock's like, are you kidding me? It should be 65. And I'm just like, all right, man, go look for a trade. Go find a team that is willing to give you $60 million and give us a first-round pick, and you'll be gone. Is it New Orleans? Is it the Raiders? Like, I bet you won't find that team. Because IU could find that team. It was Pittsburgh. It was It was New England. It was Cleveland. There were teams that were willing to pay him. And so he could kind of prove that was his market. I don't know that Brock can prove that he's actually worth $60 million in real life.
I think the only team that would pay him that will be the 49ers, possibly. And I don't even know if they will, but they're the only team that would be imaginably in that range. Another thing, though, that I think we need to talk about is, coming into the season, a lot of us said, hey, what does he look like without the Avengers? What does Brock Purdy look like without the Avengers? Now we have a chance to see it. And the answer is not good. So when you pay Brock Purdy the amount of money they're talking about paying him, this is what the team's going to look like moving forward. Maybe not next year, maybe not even the year after that, but it's going to start looking that as time goes on, where you're not able to pay all these guys and have this amazing team around them. The team's going to look like it looks like right now. And is Brock Purdy elevating the team? Is he winning in spite of the lack of talent around him right now? He's not. And that's another concern. Like, the 49ers need to be very careful right now. I don't know if they will be, but I think they should. I think they need to.
I think the Niners are just so eager to make it seem like they have everything under control. Like, they're, they have their Bill Walsh. They have their Joe Montana. They keep wanting to act like they're a superior operation to the one with the DeBartolos. They act like, they kind of lucked into Bill Walsh and a couple of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but like business wise, they were a lemonade stand compared to our Fortune 500 company we got going on over here. And once we get our Bill Walsh, like we'll be better than them. And they act like they have it all figured out right now. And to me, they got to start over. And they're not willing to do that. They're increasing season ticket prices. They're selling the hope that they're there. They have everything, and they're just, piece here. I mean, to this day, Kyle Shanahan's talking like, man, we're just a few plays away. They're a few plays away from being 10-4 right now. Did you know that? They're a few plays away from being 10-4. It's like,
how many teams could say that? Like
every team.
A majority of them could say the same thing, right? That's football. I mean, it comes down to a few plays. The good teams make those plays. So I think this is they are going to pay Brock Purdy, and if it's not team friendly and it's not back end like intelligent, if Parag doesn't work his magic on the back end and make this seem better than it really is, it's going to end up biting him in the butt at some point. Because like real quick, like that $55-60 million number, I believe that's like 17-20% of the cap. So that's 1/5 of all the cap is going to be paid to Brock Purdy. And if that doesn't
can't play fans, if it's raining.
If that doesn't scare fans, if that doesn't scare fans, I don't know.
It's funny, like when we talk about firing Kyle Shanahan and like it gets, I'm all about it. And some Niner fans are with me. A lot of them aren't. A lot of Niner fans are. But when you talk about it on Twitter, fans of other teams will kind of be like eavesdropping and stuff. And they'll be like, huh? The Niner fans are really talking about firing Kyle? Yeah, do that. Like, we would love you to fire Kyle. We don't want to face him. We want him on our team, which is kind of funny to me. When you talk about paying Brock Purdy $60 million, fans from other teams are like, huh? Yeah, do that. Please do that. I'm dying for you to do that. Like, that's how you probably shouldn't do it. The rest of the league is hoping you do this.
Yeah.
Hoping.
Yeah. And the majority, 80% of the fan base doesn't want us to.
Dave Barclay says, G, your dad said it. Pay him his one and keep looking.
Yeah, I agree with your dad.
My real name says, I hate injuries, man. We could have got a Garendo almost every week. Yeah, but not this week. Not this week. Baby Radiant says, huge mistake if the Niners give him $60 million plus all day, every day. Kim says, give me half. I can't throw a wet ball either. Matt McEwen says, losing leverage the way Baker and Goff are playing. Baker lit up the Chargers today. Wow.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson is showing you what a top paid quarterback should look like today. So is Josh Allen.
Yep. And JT Ray says, if the Niners are looking for a long-term guy in Purdy, don't see why they don't give him the Jimmy deal from 2017 or Baker's current deal. Well, we'll see what Brock really holds out for. Dave Barclay says, you see Lions-Bills game. Bills need to win it all. Matt McEwen says, Brock is just a more mobile Jimmy Garoppolo.
I mean, I showed you the numbers. The numbers speak. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo has had 2 full seasons with the 49ers, and those 2 full seasons were better than this current year with Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy played better than Jimmy in the year when he had prime CMC and prime Brandon Ayuk, but without those guys, he's not as good as Jimmy is.
Jimmy's last year with the Niners, he was 7-3, and his quarterback rating was 103. And his touchdown interception ratio was 4-1. Like that's way better than Brock right now. Like calling him the next Jimmy G is almost, he might be worse. I don't know what's going on with Brock right now, but his season this year, it's hard to overstate how bad he's been. Although David has some stats that says he's actually been really good, despite what everyone has seen.
He's been bad, and I do also think he is injured right now, and I don't think we're going to find out about it until after the season. But that's another reason not to pay him. Don't learn from what you did with Christian McCaffrey. That's a reason not to pay him.
Cody Karki says, I joined the Army and have been gone for the last 6 months. Missed pretty much all Niners news. What do I need to know about this season other than Debo is washed and Brock is going to be overpaid?
Absolutely.
Kyle Shanahan might be washed too, and so might Mike McDaniel. They're both 6-8, and their offenses don't work so good anymore. Nick Sorensen did a pretty good job this week, though.
And here's the other question regarding Brock, because it says, should the 49ers pay Brock underneath? What is Brock's game? What game did Brock just put the team on his back and win? Thursday night. Like he had an opportunity against the Rams in the first game this year, and he didn't seize it. Like, he's had opportunities. He had it just now against the Rams.
Dude, he put the team on his back and he whooped the Bears, man. Whooped them. Matt McEwen says Brock misses BA more than anything.
I think he does.
Yeah. 2023 BA was a special receiver. I don't know that we're going to see that player again. He definitely wasn't that guy this year. He needs a full offseason to be that guy, and he's not going to get that this year either, next year.
If he's that guy again, and it won't be next year, it'll be the year after, if he's ever that guy again.
Shady Luke says, I watch you and Jesse all the time. I just want to give Ryan a shout out. He's the only one I saw say weeks ago, look out for Philly. Have a good day, Sunday boys.
Right on, Shady.
Right on. Tony B says, I'd rather have Dylan Gabriel on a rookie contract. Do I know who that is? No, but let's make some sleeper picks, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Hold on, wait a second.
We're going to do Monday night game? Or Sunday
absolutely.
night? Sunday night. We can do Sunday night.
Let's do Sunday night.
Who plays tonight?
It's Green Bay and Seattle. So we're talking Geno. What do you want to do? Yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, interceptions, completions, attempts?
I'd go under the yards if that's what he hasn't
247.
gone over that. He hasn't gone over that in
a minute.
No,
he hasn't.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Jordan Love? 234.
Where are they playing?
They're playing. That's a good question. In Seattle.
I'll go. What else do we got? What are other options? Do we have an interception on there for Jordan Love?
Absolutely. That's always the easy one. But he's been getting his stuff together.
He's due. That's what it means.
All right, I like that. Yeah. Josh Jacobs, touchdowns, yards. Receiving touchdowns is an easy one. I think he has one in his career. You can always take the no on receiving touchdowns.
That's what I like.
I literally think he has one in his career.
They give you sleeper picks, just gives you sometimes. Yeah, I'd go.
But look at the odds. They know that they know 1.04. Like, you're not getting anything. But you know what? It's a good pick. I'm trying to create a parlay over here. I'm trying to parlay something. Zach Charbonnet, good player.
Yeah.
Rushing yards, 61.5. Ooh.
Against Green Bay?
Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
No, I think they're going to be throwing. I think they're going to be throwing a lot in this game.
All right.
So I would say no.
Okay, no one's. But I still like you, Zach. What about Jackson Smith and Jigba? He's been slamming the over. The more
I'd go over. Yeah.
I mean, that's JSN for you. 2 more. How about we get a Monday night one just to get a little Darnold action in there?
Okay. Dude, he had 5 touchdowns last game. That's nuts.
He really did, dude. He's been getting more than dude. What if that was Purdy? Look at that.
Hey, so here's the question: are they going to look back and think
maybe
we messed up for not keeping Sam Darnold?
We kept the wrong quarterback. Oh man, Should we? What do you think? 2 touchdowns for Darnold?
Yeah. Yep.
I think, yeah. I'm a
Sammy-
big,
Sammy
always
D.
have been a big Darnold fan. Caleb Williams, man,
My whole life. Yeah.
217 yards. Are you going to bounce back against Minnesota? Probably not.
No.
Okay, those are our picks. We're sticking to them. Viewing the entry, flexing the entry, submitting the entry. Download the Sleeper app. Play 5, get $55. That's a new promotion right there. Also, use promo code Cohn, COHN, and get entered to win a signed George Kittle jersey. That's the coolest jersey you could get. It's signed by George. Okay. When do you
I
think
want
this
that
Brock Purdy
Devondre
situation
Campbell.
will- Huh?
Personally,
Ooh.
I want that Devondre Campbell jersey personally.
Do you think it exists?
I don't know. I'll get a custom made. Sorry to interrupt.
Man, hold on, man. They won't let me do it. Edit. Let me get rid of the Jordan Love one. All right,
They're
we're good.
hating?
We're good.
They're
I don't know
hating?
why. Sometimes they hate on me, but I still want to make it count because we got to go back and usually you get your picks right. If you guys are keeping score at home, Ryan usually gets his picks right. One time he got
If
all
we-
of them right. I took credit for it.
If we had to keep like all your guests, if we had a scoreboard, you think I'd be
You'd
winning?
be
that
winning
thing?
by a lot.
That's right.
By a
There we
lot.
go. You hear that, Jesse?
Ryan
Coach?
just has a sixth sense. I don't know what it is. All right.
Yeah.
When do you think the Purdy situation will get resolved?
I just don't think it's going to go down like Brandon Ayuk or Nick Bosa. I do think Brock Purdy is going to, they're starting high right now and they're going to negotiate high right now. 49ers will come low, and I think they'll meet in the middle pretty quickly.
Awesome.
I don't think Brock wants to miss anything. Yeah. That's my guess.
I'm with you on that. I feel like the agent might be talking a big game behind closed doors privately right now, maybe, allegedly. But when it comes down to it, the Niners will probably offer him something respectable that looks better than it is.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a lot of guaranteed money and is team friendly.
Yeah.
And Brock will have a decision to make. Stand on business and potentially hold out, right? And pull a Brandon Ayuk or cave. And I think he'll cave.
Me too.
Because he has no leverage. There is no market for him. Maybe that's unfair. He thinks he should be paid more than Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson. But if the Cowboys made Dak Prescott available for a trade, teams would be interested.
Right.
To take on his salary too. And if the Niners made Brock Purdy available for a trade, I don't know that anyone would make his dreams come true with his salary demands. That's the difference.
Yeah. I think Brock Purdy will cave early. I think he's I do think he is a nice guy. I don't think that's all fake. You know, this is his agent going to work right now, it sounds like to me. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like. I think
control after the worst game possible.
Yeah. I think Brock is really a good dude overall. But I think the 49ers will probably offer him more than they probably should. And I think Brock and them 49ers will come to an agreement in like March or April. Honestly, I think it'll happen pretty quickly.
Yeah, because what they can't have happen is another prolonged contract dispute, because it's a dark cloud that hangs over the season. You just saw what that did to you. You don't want to invite that upon you again. So you want to give Brock, to me, I'm ruthless. I would not offer him an extension. And if he wanted to get uppity about it, I'd trade him. And to me, like, Darnold's going to be available. Darnold's not going to be out here requesting $60 million a year. He'll probably want $40 million tops. And maybe you can get him for a little less. That seems a lot more palatable to me than just making Brock happy. So I don't know.
I wouldn't even trade him. I would just keep him. Sorry. And if you don't want to play, I'm going to, that's fine. We're going to go
That's a great point. That's a great point.
We'll get a free agent, because I don't know, like, if it's worth trading him. Like, he is a quarterback who has shown to be good. Not great, not elite, but a good quarterback. So I think you keep that. You need that on your roster. It costs you $1 million. Hey, you don't want to play? That's fine.
And you know what argument I hate? When people are like, well, Brock's played for nothing and you owe it to him. Like, nah, man, sorry. Them's the breaks. You don't pay for past performance. You pay for what you're going to do in the future. And so, like, all that stuff in 2022 and 2023, it's irrelevant. It's not factoring in. We're trying to project what you're going to do going forward. And the fact that you're coming off this bad of a year is very alarming. And that's why if the Niners offer a multi-year deal, it better be the most team-friendly freaking deal. Because again, they really have all the leverage in this situation. Last year, they talked about how they had the leverage with Ayuk. I don't know. They caved. And there were a lot of teams that wanted to give Ayuk what the Niners were initially unwilling to give him. In this situation, the Niners are just negotiating against themselves.
Brock Purdy is being paid right now and could possibly be paid next year based on what the NFL thought of him coming out of college. They're paying him based on
what play better in college, man. Do better at the combine. Sorry, you didn't do very well in your initial tests coming into the league.
Right. And so his next contract, he's going to be paid based on what the 49ers projected he's going to be. It doesn't matter what he's done in the past. It's about what they think he's going to do. I don't like that argument. And the other argument I really hate is, well, look at how much Dak Prescott makes. Look at how much Trevor Lawrence makes. Look at how much Tua makes. I don't want to be the Dolphins. I don't want to be the Jaguars. I don't want to be the Cowboys. I'm not going to look at what they've done to determine whether I should do the same thing for Brock Purdy. Now, the 49ers are going to. We said that they're going to. But I wouldn't. I think the smart thing is to let it play out. Hey, man, we want you to play one more year and show us. You had a good couple years. Last year was really bad. We want you to show us one more year what you can do. And then the people are like, well, he'll get paid more if they do that. He's not going to get paid more than 20% of the salary cap, which is what they're talking about right now. It's about what percentage of the salary cap he's going to get paid. The cap's going to go up.
This comes down to what kind of organization the Niners want to be and think they are. Like top level organizations, the ones they were in the 80s and 90s, wouldn't settle for Brock coming off a season like this. They would have high standards and be like, you know what? I don't care what the league thinks. If it looks like we have instability, like we have high standards is what we have. And we're not just going to fork over another huge extension because a guy asked for it. This is the most important position. This is the most important decision. We're going to, and we're unsure about this guy. So we're not just going to give him the freaking deal because that's what the market is supposed to be. Like that's what a good organization would do. That seems like what Minnesota's potentially doing with Sam Darnold over there. That's a good organization. A mid organization like Dallas says we want to be profitable. We want to sell our fans the illusion that we have everything under control. We want to have our head coach locked up long term. We want to have our quarterback locked up long term. Everything's great. Nothing to see here. It's like, okay. And that works until you go 6-11 and you miss the playoffs.
Really, when it comes to the foot, like, why do you need to pay Brock Purdy? Like, what is the reason that you need to pay Brock Purdy when he's due $1 million and is in contract next year? What is the benefit? What is the point? Just to make him happy? I'm sorry, this is a business. I got to make sure. They tried
to make Brandon Ayuk happy. He still wore the wrong color shorts.
The 49ers.
He's like, I hate black shorts. I hate him.
The 49ers.
I hate black pepper.
They need to draw a line in the sand and be cutthroat. Like, this is what we're willing to offer. Accept it, or we are going to do something else, and we're going to be decisive about it. Make a decision. Draw a line in the sand. They should have done it with BA. They should have do it with all these players. This is what we're willing to pay you. This is what we think you're worth. And if you want more than that, we are going to trade you. Period.
Yeah. And we're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't trade
no rule against it. The Falcons just did it, right? They gave Kirk Cousins 4 years, 200 bajillion million, 200, whatever it was, half guaranteed. And then they're like, hey, Kirk, you thought we were committed to you? Psych. We're drafting a quarterback. So
good for them.
I mean, of course, I don't think the Niners will do any of that, but they have to take this quarterback position seriously. They have to.
Yep.
And they have to take this season seriously that Brock Purdy's having, and not just chalk it up to, oh, there were injuries and bad luck.
Right. But they're gonna sign Brock. Don't get it twisted for a minute that either one of us are saying they're not going to. They definitely will. We're just saying.
All right. So when that happens, how will Brock Purdy be judged by the general public if he resets the market and temporarily is the highest paid player in the league or close to it?
Man, it's already happening based on this report right now. I see people throughout the comments, Twitter, talking to on the phone and in person, the biggest Brock Purdy supporters that I know are saying no way, right? Like I read that poll, 80% of fans said no, don't pay him that. So it's already happening. Like the gloves come off. When you are the highest paid quarterback in NFL, you need to be consistently elite in all weather, period. Like at that point, that's what the level is. You're getting paid the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, then we expect consistent elite pay. And even the most like supportive Brock Purdy fans are going to be saying the same thing. If you go out and play like you did against the Rams after being making $55 million a year, they're going to be coming for your head.
You know, it's funny. Brock Purdy is making no money, and he's being looked at. He's still being treated with kid gloves. Like, he's having a terrible year. People are like, you know what? It's been hard for him. He's had a lot of context there. Yeah, only because he's not making any money. If you're making a lot of money, people be dumping on him. And you know what? Like, the only statistic he's having a good season in is QBR. David Lombardi keeps talking about it. Well, he's like 9th or 10th in QBR. Okay, but like across the board, Kyler Murray is having a better season than Brock. And he's not even having a good season. Better QBR. Like, when you're Kyler Murray and you're making that much money, you're looked at as a disappointment, a problem, someone the team might have to move on from. It's just not working. We're not winning, and he's making all this money. He's not helping. He's probably the issue. So again, Brock, like, and he's only making 45. You can't have numbers like this and make $60 million a year or 45 or 30 because Baker's making 30 and Baker has like 30 touchdown passes this year, man. Like, you played your way out of a contract. The Niners, if they give it to you, are just being generous and foolish, and understand where you stand right now in a very bad position. And you got 3 games left. Could get worse.
People that report EPA as the statistic are only doing that because that's the best statistic for Brock Purdy, right? Like, if there was something else that was the best statistic for Brock Purdy, they would tout that, right? Oh, he's got the highest completion percentage if he had that, or the great, this and that. Like, that's a biased reporter being biased, in my opinion. We can see with our eyes. Like, I like to post stats and get a reading of where people are at based on their statistics, but really, when you watch the game and you see missed opportunities from Brock Purdy over and over again, and in this last game, to be fair, there were dropped passes that could have changed the outcome of this game by the wide receivers, right? And there is context. Brandon Ayuk definitely is a huge help for Brock Purdy. All that is true. But like, you have to be able to help your team rise to the occasion if you're a top paid quarterback in the NFL. And Brock has not done that.
Amaya says, team on his back in Tampa, I'd say. They kicked 6 field goals in that game. That's not exactly putting the team on your back. I don't know about that one. 23 points, 6 field goal attempts. Mufasa says, I've seen enough from Brock. Give him the Deshaun deal.
Wow. Malik Mustafa. That's crazy that Malik Mustafa came on here and said that.
Seen enough. JT Ray says, yo, for promo code Cohn, if you had used it already in previous drawings, are we still in the pool for the current drawing? I'll have to ask and get back to you. I think so. Because you can't use it twice, right? That seems like it should be fair. Moises Rosales says, what about Fields, either as QB1 or QB2 to compete?
Depends on the price.
You know who it's gonna be? Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Fields or Jones, so to me, those guys would be QB2. But it would be interesting to see them play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. I don't think they would ever be competing, though. They wouldn't come in here to compete. And honestly, why did the 49ers trade Trey Lance more than anything?
I was gonna say that. What about Trey Lance? He'll be a free agent.
Well, no, not what I mean is, I'm not saying go get Trey Lance, but what I'm saying, the reason why they traded Trey Lance is because they didn't want that quarterback controversy behind Brock Purdy. The 49ers don't believe in competition for Brock Purdy. They want no competition for Brock Purdy.
None. Well, that's what they wanted this year. Maybe they changed their mind. Only thing I can hope is that Kyle Shanahan deep down is as cynical as I am. And I think he is. And I think why I like him. Kindred spirits. I give him a lot of crap, but deep down, I really like Kyle Shanahan. I think we're very similar.
Yeah, I could see it.
I think I should be making $14 million a year too. I think I'm just as charming. Moises Rosales says, what about Fields? We got you. Hold on. Tony B says, do you know what this is from? I made a little reference earlier and you didn't pick up on it.
No.
Don't Be a Menace?
Oh, yeah.
They get arrested and
That's
Bernie Mac starts going about all of
it. Yeah. That's a good movie.
I hate black pepper. Oh, damn. Christopher Schwab says, what's the exact day he's eligible for an extension? January 5th, January 6th.
Yeah.
As soon as that's the last day of the regular season. Big Tim 3 says, Brock, do you think that's Big Tim 3 or big time?
Big time. It's just big time.
It's big time, right? It's not Big Tim 3. Big time. Big time says Brock could never do what Allen and Goff did today. Doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter though. He's been the most efficient quarterback in the league since he became. Do you see that David's been saying that stuff?
I honestly muted him, so I don't see anything he says.
My problem with him, I have a lot, but like when you really follow his coverage, it's always stats.
I can't.
Oh, I got some advanced stat. I dug deep and found an advanced stat that tells me that Brock's great. It's like, man, we all watch him. You can't gaslight us. We all see this, and he's not your friend. Those two things. Like,
I find myself sighing heavily when I see his tweets. So I muted him. I didn't block him. I just muted him so I don't have to see him because I don't want that. I don't want to even see.
Well, they're not like bangers anymore. He was getting a lot of banger tweets when the Niners were good the last few years, but now it's like a lot of responses being like, David, stop.
That's the home. I mean, that's the thing. When you have homer coverage and the team is doing well, you're going to be very popular. When you have homer coverage and the team is struggling, now you look a little foolish.
A little foolish. Tony B says Niners should be drafting a quarterback biannually.
I agree. Tony
I mean, to me, like, why not draft it every year? Because you're probably not going to hit. You can take them late in the draft, but when you do hit one, you have the most important position on a rookie deal. Like, it's a cheat code. So why would you not at least give yourself a chance? It's like buying a lottery ticket for $3. Like, give yourself a chance to win the lottery. They won the lottery 2 years ago.
Hey, I agree, man. They definitely should. To me, the strategy would be, I would not pay him. I'd say, hey, play out your contract. I would draft a quarterback, and I would get a free agent that can at least be decent.
And you know what else? You know what else they would do if they were real G's?
What's that?
You know what, Brock? You're benched. The season is over. We're going with the youth. Tanner, you're up. It's Tanner time. So that's our last topic, and then I want to go watch Sunday Night Football. Should the Niners rest their vets? Play the young guys, mainly Tanner Mordecai. What do you think?
I think they should. Technically, they can still get in the playoffs, so that's hard to do. But starting next week, like, I understand them trying to go out this week and do their thing. I do think they beat Miami, but I think even if they beat Miami, they're going to be eliminated at that point, probably based on what the other teams do. So probably not this week, I would say.
Miami sucks.
What's that?
Team, Miami sucks. Miami sucks. Not the team, not the town. I like the team.
The town's
the town. I'm one of the town. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would I think the last two games, once you are eliminated from the playoffs, absolutely, man. Sit all the veterans, get Warner out of there. Don't play Bosa, don't play Trent, don't play Debo. Like, we know what Debo is. Can we see Cowan? Can we see Pearsall? Can we see Tariq Owens? That's who I want to see.
Okay, but here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. I think you're dead on.
Yeah.
Do you think they will?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Here's why, in my opinion. Look what happened with Devondre Campbell. That was very much about money. He has incentives in his contract. He's a vet on his second deal, and like, he got benched, and he's here for money. He was also here maybe for a Super Bowl run, but that's out. And I feel like you're looking at a shaky locker room, and Kyle's trying to hold it together. And if he starts benching vets who are like close to hitting incentives in their contracts to play rookies who would never complain about anything because they aren't in a position to, that locker room could get even worse. So I think there's a lot of reasons they won't do it, but like, why are they continuously feeding Debo Samuel? Well, on Debo has a podcast. He has a big platform. And just a couple of weeks ago, he went on his podcast and was like, oh, it's ridiculous that Kyle Shanahan's on the hot seat. That's stupid. Like, if they feed him. If they stop feeding him, then that's one less guy advocating for Kyle and saying like, yeah, we love him. Just saying, I don't think he'll do it. I think he wants those vets to be on his side. Guys
that are not in contract years, like your Fred Warners, who's been playing on a bad ankle, bench him, right? Like, and not bench him like in a negative way. Just tell him, hey, dude, we want you to be healthy next year. I don't even think Trent Williams is coming back. I think he's dealing with a lot off the field. I think that's more of an issue. I think Trent's injured, But I think because of what he's dealing with off the field and the situation, the record for the 49ers, I don't think he comes back anyways. I can understand guys like Greenlaw and Hufanga wanting to play, but like your Diamador Lenores, I think I would give him a break. Let's see what these young dudes can do. We've seen enough of Deebo Samuel. I'd like to see what these receivers could do. All your rookies, get them in, get them involved. Like, use this opportunity to see what you have in them, and you might have diamond in the rough.
I just think it's interesting. Like, all year we were saying, why are they sticking with Devondre Campbell? Dean Winters is clearly better. Why are they doing this? And it's like, oh, I see why. Because he was going to go postal the minute they benched him. And then he did. So again, I wonder how this team isn't really sold out on any particular goal. A lot of guys were here for a year or two just because. Yeah. And if you start benching those guys right before they hit free agency again, Kyle Shanahan might not be so.
This year was all about money, bro. This whole year, the theme was get your money. That's what this theme of this year was. Get your money.
Cream.
Yeah. Dollar bill, y'all.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. That was, I think that was from the Old Testament. That might have been in Genesis. Exodus. Yeah. I think Moses said that.
It was the book of Wu-Tang.
It was the book of Wu-Tang, right? That was in between Jeremiah and Isaiah. Wu-Tang. Yeah. It was book of Jizza, book of Rizza, book of Raekwon, book of Ghostface, book of Method Man, Inspected Deck, Capadonna. There's a whole.
I'm impressed, man. And you're a younger guy and to know that's pretty impressive, dude.
Who's your favorite Wu-Tang member?
Ghostface?
Me too. I also like Raekwon, but Ghostface's career just like went longer.
Yeah, I think it's Ghostface. Yeah.
And he says some wild stuff. It's like, what? Yeah. Some wild stream of consciousness stuff. Anyway, it's time to go watch some football. We got a few more super chats, and then it's Wu-Tang time. 808 says if he thinks he's worth $60 million, he can get the heck out of here. You can't pay him more than Mahomes or Allen. Let him test free agency and find out why it was the last pick. You see how fans turn on you when you want some money, Brock?
It's going to be
Brandon. Happens. Yeah. Enrique says trade Purdy for Baker, not worth $60 million. You think Tampa wants to trade? Think they would do that?
No. I think they prefer Baker at what they're paying him. Yeah.
Mike drops with Monsa says Brock's contract is a double down on this regime's quarterback mistakes, and it'll be their last under Kyle. Kyle's internal clock starts ticking with Brock's deal. Huge mistake to extend another limited quarterback. Well, the Yorks did it with Kaepernick. They did it with Jimmy. And they're going to do it with Brock. I can't wait for it. This is why I cover this team.
They're absolutely
the right call.
Yeah,
good time
for everyone watching. They are absolutely going to extend Brock Purdy. Rest assured,
100%. Can't wait because they think it's what the fans want, but it's not. And when it happens, they're going to be mad. But it could work out.
It's like they feel like, hey, we're paying a lot of money, so therefore we're successful.
Yeah,
it's like that. That's like the
same. It's the same mentality the Cowboys have, and look, it's working out for them.
Yeah, good point. But the business part of it, it's working. So maybe that's all that matters for them.
Maybe that's all that matters. And so for the Niners, they're definitely business is booming with them. Although this year, not so great. Anyway, enjoy Sunday Night Football. Ryan, this was a good idea to do the show a day early. So thanks for watching, everyone. Good stuff, dude. Bye.
Goodbye.